Yeah.
So you came here for basketball.
Yep.
Right. That was like your go-to. That's what you
my
wanted
motivation.
to do. What happened? Like what changed?
Yeah.
Because you're here now.
Yeah.
You're my boss. So like
Yes.
we work together, and like you are a friend of mine and a mentor, and like you work closely with like the basketball team and all that stuff. So you have that history, you have that experience with them.
Yeah.
But like what brought you to this point?
Yeah, so I would say, I tell students all the time, somewhere between my sophomore and junior year, freshman and sophomore year, I would say that I was a basketball player who happened to go to Grace. And somewhere along the line, through chapels and small groups and theology and Bible classes and my education classes, and just being in this space, Grace Christian University, on these grounds, I turned into a student at Grace who happened to play basketball. So there was a huge heart flip there, and that's what I challenge young people who are here at Grace to do, is to embrace the process. We're going to talk about process probably a lot today, but embrace the process, because what it does is it creates and helps to shape and mold you to launch. Where this is a destination for a freshman, it's only a launch point for a junior or senior. And so at some point that flips, and you start to utilize Grace as your destination. And then at some point, as you mature spiritually, mentally, physically, the whole wellness wheel of health, all of a sudden you're ready to launch. And then you go. So I have just found that I am called, I feel like God has called me to be in this place, to walk with students for 4 or 5 years, because this is the time where I learned to launch. I came to Grace as a young man who knew what I believed, I had a good foundation, but didn't know how to share it. I would lean away from hard conversations. Now I lean towards hard conversations because of the foundation that Grace has given me. And now I can hopefully help lots of students to do the same.
Like we've talked about this before, but there's a sort of joy that comes to leadership where you get to work with somebody on the hard stuff in life. And sometimes that like comes from like a hard conversation, a hard situation, or even like an opportunity where like someone needs to fail safely. They get an opportunity to grow and try something out, and maybe it didn't go the way they expected to, but it's a learning opportunity that they then get to grow in and learn that process and be launched into life. And there's sort of a trust that's being built there with you and the student, but also kind of with yourself and your abilities and leadership to say, God has called me to do this thing, and I get to do this, and it's exciting to be able to do this. And I do get to see, even in the hard stuff and even the difficult, the growth in that from myself, but also the people that I'm investing in and serving with.
I would say it's not about me at all. I would say it's not. I'm a vessel. God's asked me to do this, and I'm just trying to steward it in a way that honors Him. And I love to think of it this way: every student is a chapter book, and their time at Grace Christian University is a chapter or two, and I get to be a footnote. They're the hero of their story. I might help them as a puzzle maker, like I might help them to build their puzzle, but in the end, the story is about them, and I might have a little spot at the bottom that says, "This guy at this little time helped in this little way." Like if that's what I can do, then I feel like I'm stewarding the role well.
It's about empowerment, right?
You got it.
You're not the main character.
Nope.
Like you're trying to like assist others.
Yep.
I think that's a biblical principle and practice that even like Christ presented himself, right? He talks about that in Matthew 28, where he says, "I did not come to be served, but to serve," right? And he shows it with his actions, right? It's like washing the feet of his disciples and just presenting himself in a way where it's like, even though he's the guy, he's the guy where it is about him, right? He is presenting to us the example that we got to live out. And that is like the standard of a leader that we should be following. And if we want to be a leader, you look to others, right? Like Paul said, "Follow me as I follow Christ." But the big point there is follow Christ. Like he's the one who sets that end all be all.
Yep.
So you get some really unique opportunities in your position and throughout the time that you've been here, where you get to walk with students, all that. And maybe you can share some examples or some moments in your time here where you've seen Christ working in the lives of students and how they've impacted them. I'm sure you had a lot. Like, it's hard to choose from, probably.
In my first role as a part-time coach back in 2005, I was walking with a captain on the men's basketball program because I was an assistant coach for the men's program, and he was getting some grief from his teammates because he was going to a bunch of events. He was a leader on campus. And he came to me before practice, and he had some tears in his eyes, and he's like, "Hey, I need to ask you a question." And he's like, "Why are these guys messing with me? And what should I do about it?" And I sat him down on the bench as guys were warming up, and I said, "Listen, you are living a full life. Don't stop what you're doing. Don't allow some guys that want to be on the fringe, that have chosen to be like, I'm going to take pieces and parts of this culture, but not all of it. I'm going to take the basketball part and maybe the classes part, but I'm not going to take everything else. Follow your heart, and you are currently living a full life, and you will continue to live a full life. And you're building habit right now for the rest of your life."
Yeah.
And he is now a pastor at a mega church in Detroit, absolutely just serving people in a way that honors Christ every single day, and navigating family life and being the best husband you've ever seen. And it's not to say because he chose to go to events at Grace is the reason why he's that, but he created the habits of a full life while here doing those things, stretching outside of his comfort zone. And so walking with him was a joy to do that. Here's another really fun example. In 2012, it became full-time as Dean of Students.
Yeah.
And in one of my first years, I had a student who wasn't ready to be at Grace. And in my role as the judicial affairs guy, I had to make some tough decisions. And with him, through the process, and then we ultimately decided that he wasn't a good fit at that point to be at Grace. And just a couple months ago, I had a phone conversation with him. And he said, "Kyle, Grace is, getting kicked out of Grace is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I found Christ." He didn't say yes to Christ here, but the foundation that was given to him, even when he was not desiring it, like went into his heart. And then after I sadly had to remove him from campus, he found Christ. He got sober. He found his wife. They've got 4 beautiful kids, living down south, part owner of a company, and now he's giving back to Grace in a financial way because he believes that getting removed from Grace was the reason why he knows Christ today.
Yeah.
And so I was part of a tough part of his journey, but him calling me, or me calling him, and then him sharing that just allows me to see that God can use any scenario and situation for his betterment. I'll probably say this again today, but God takes the mess and makes it the message eventually. And so the fact that this man now, I can't say young man anymore, man is just doing amazing things, and wants to give back to Grace, the place that removed him, because he believes in what we did and what we're doing. So those are 2 examples. I've got 100 million of them, and we would spend the rest of the podcast talking about that.
And I think we often think leadership, we understand it can be hard, there's those challenges, but God is working in those situations. Right? We need to do the best we can, and the tools that God has given us and the opportunities that are presented, and continue to grow in those skills and those opportunities. But ultimately, whether it is something with a hard conversation or something that's just exciting and joyous and like awesome, God can use either or of those, any of those situations, and still bring someone who didn't know him to a relationship and have fellowship with them, and so that lives are changed forever.
Yes.
But something so like that maybe somebody would have a same experience and then leave and be like, I hate this school or I hate this place and I'm not nothing to do with God. Whereas someone who has the same exact experience realize, wow, God really did this for me to put me in a place where I can now live my life in the fullness of His Spirit and to glorify Him and exalt Him with the gifts that He's given me.
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly. And we have to trust that God is in the inner workings of our community, because there are people that I won't be able to reach, even though I desire to.
Yeah.
I just won't. There are things of affinities and different things that would probably push me or allow God's pathway to intersect with somebody else. And then there are others that I probably won't have that opportunity to.
Yep.
So we have to trust that God has placed people in those students' paths.
Yeah.
So, we need to be as coordinated as we can so that no student slips through the crack. And we have to trust and be faithful that God's plan is big and we don't know that plan.
Yeah.
And we have to be faithful in the opportunities that He gives us and then trust that He will give others the same opportunities with other students that we don't have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it goes back to what you were saying, like, it's not about us.
Nope.
It's not about me. It's about God. And we have to put ourselves not on the pedestal, but put Him on the pedestal for people to look to Him and say, I'm going to follow you. So your position has grown. You've changed and it's developed, and now you are the vice president of athletics and student affairs, right?
Yep, associate vice president.
Associate vice president. So you're working in a different capacity than you did as dean of students, right? You're really heavily directly involved.
Yes.
What does the position look like now today in what you do with students and how you interact with them and how you influence students and student leaders that you're working together?
My previous roles allowed me to have just direct interaction without trying. I was in the ditches, right? We were working together, working with student government, working with RAs, navigating judicial situations, part of athletics and just coaching or helping, mentoring. And now my role is more to create the structure and the mission or the vision and core values of the different departments that I serve. And so now I get to hopefully create opportunities for others to have those transformational experiences with students. So hopefully I can cascade that to people like you so that you can have 16 people on the hospitality team for chapel that you can be pouring in. And my role now is to empower you to pour into you and others to ensure that you've got a full cup to do so. So it's really turned into, I get to impact the same amount of students, but I don't have near the amount of face-to-face interactions with students as I once had. And that kind of hurts the heart once in a while because like that motivates me to see someone work through something difficult and to be part of their story is fun. But you have to take opportunities where you can. So one of the things I've tried to do on the last few years, I am the team chaplain, team connector we call ourselves, for our men's basketball program for the varsity team. And so once a week I get to do a devotional live in person with them. Our coaches give me 25 to 30 minutes once a week to just have very strong interpersonal dialogue where we're working through things, and that has scratched the itch of making sure that I'm still part of the solutions that students desire to have, and I'm not just in the background building teams and making sure that we have healthy ways to do things at Grace. So it's been a new challenge and one that I've had to wrestle with a little bit, to be very honest. To watch you and others continue to serve students at a high capacity fills my heart, and sometimes I get a little envious of it. So you still get the opportunities, but not as much as like you have in the past. But you're still doing it in a way where you have, I guess, some voice in it, right? Because you have a past with athletics, with basketball, and so you can speak to a specific group and be like, hey, and this is the whole framework that you're talking about, where it's essentially like divide and conquer, and putting people in place, empowering, because you are empowering us as leaders, and we empower our interns and people who are in leadership positions, students who are in leadership positions, so that they can pour into others,
and this like multiplication of leadership going on.
Exactly.
We use the same framework with evangelizing,
Yes.
right? Where you make a disciple and that disciple makes 2 disciples and then you continue on, or 3 or 4.
Yep.
Like it's the same thing with leadership. It's the same thing with mentoring, pouring into others, and doing it in a way where the whole thing isn't on you. It's not on one person, but it's on a community of people who are walking alongside each other with the same mission, same goal, different gifts, different I guess ways you can speak to somebody in their lives.
Yep.
Which I think is the way that God meant it to be, right? So that we can
exactly
impact people in those specific ways.
Yep. I think some people, a lot of people probably see like leadership as a triangle, and leadership means you're at the top of that point.
Yeah.
You probably have heard this from before, but we want to invert that triangle so that the point is at the bottom. The leader's at the bottom, raising up the leaders who are then going to go and change, student lives and things like that. So it's really about serving those that are on your teams. I often say, like, with the more titles you have in life, the less life is about you, and it's more about those you serve. So I think that we've seen that from Mr. Ryan Scherstedt and President Kemper and other provosts that have come and go, or current provosts and different leaders at Grace. We all have one mind about that, where it's the more titles you have, less is about you and more about people that you're serving.
I want to hear your thoughts on this, because we've talked about like students wanting to become something, right? They're coming to college to grow into and get a position and like do this as a career. And a lot of times before they can do that, we try to help them understand their why, right? Why are you doing this? What's the purpose? What's the goal intended? And why do you find joy in going for this? I think we could do the same thing with leadership, right?
Yes.
Like, why is leadership important? What's the significance about it? When I first, and I want to hear your thoughts on like what to you think is important about leadership and how it influences people.
Sure.
When I first started, I guess, attending church, getting involved, because I didn't grow up in the church, and I started being encouraged by my youth group leaders, by my youth pastor, to seek after ministry and be involved in that way. One of the best advice that I would say, or I guess the most formative advice that was given to me early on, was that a leader's success is shown in the way that they lead their ministry, or they lead their team to fend off for themselves, essentially. Or how can a ministry or organization continue on or flourish or not flourish, and whether or not that leader did what they needed to do, right? For them to be autonomous. Is that like what are your thoughts on that and leadership, and how do we do that here with students who are continuing to be cycled through, essentially?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it goes back to culture. If you as a leader can help to build a culture that can perpetuate itself and be healthy, it can survive the ups and downs of someone coming or going. If a president of a university or an organization, corporation leaves, and that organization slumps, that leader didn't empower the people or build the culture or mechanics for that company to thrive when they're gone. I think the sign of a good leader is if you have a very important person who leaves, can the organization, can the student body, can whatever, continue to flourish without them? Oftentimes we think, that leader's going to leave. What are we going to do? Well, I think if that leader was worth their salt, they set up the mechanics so that when they're gone, the place continues on like nothing ever happened. So, and I think that goes back to just a culture being built, and making sure that you are hiring the right people, that you're recruiting the right students, and that you are building the mechanisms to ensure safety, wellness, and thriving.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I think it still goes back to what you were saying as well, where it's not about us, right?
Nope.
Empowering others so they can be like lifted up. I guess see in like culture in my own generation a desire for that, like a want to be the person, the influencer, the I guess CEO or head of something, because maybe it's something that has to do with I guess either pride or like greed or whatever it may be. It's all personal, right? Depending on your influence. But like social media influence, all that stuff is huge with my generation, with the younger generations, wanting to be that kind of person who does it all or is the go-to.
Yep.
But it's like that when it comes to leadership, and I would say like a biblically based faith influenced leadership, gospel centered leadership, it's flipped upside down.
It really
it's
is.
not about me. It's about others, those around me.
Yes.
And that shows the success of your leadership, essentially.
It's so countercultural to what we're seeing. But if you go hear a really solid business CEO or a university president, you're going to hear like, it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about the people.
Yeah.
It's really fun to sit with leaders to learn from them and to hear. But the thing that I come back to most is, yes, a leader needs to have a face that can be put on a billboard once in a while or whatever. That is a thing. Every boat needs a rudder.
Yep.
And so that leader is that rudder.
Yep.
But that rudder is underneath the water.
Yeah.
You don't see the rudder.
Yeah. That's true.
Every boat that is not sinking looks beautiful on the outside and it goes fast. But what's keeping that boat afloat and turning in the right direction and going the way that you want it is because of a rudder underneath the water.
Yeah.
And that leader shouldn't be seen a lot. I look at I look at leaders and think it's about the others. Let's prop everyone else up.
Yeah.
One of my thoughts about leadership is that I want to make sure that others have my podium. I have the role to be able to grab the mic whenever I want it. But I don't. I want others to grab the mic. I want others to stand on stage. And I want to prop others up so that we can build up leaders. If I get hit by a bus, there's somebody that's going to slide right in and keep it going and move it forward. So
a lot of students, a lot of young leaders, they're going to be not in a leadership position just yet, right? They're a lot of times they'll step into an opportunity because they feel called to, whether it's ministry or an organization or whatever it may be, or a team. They want to step into a position where they see an opportunity to grow in and develop. They want to become that leader, but they don't have that title yet. They're not, I guess, in charge. What kind of advice would you give? Because we see that all the time. What kind of advice would you give to somebody who's in that position where they can be a leader, but they're not in charge?
The thoughts I have are not flashy.
Okay.
And they're gonna rest on people like, oh, really? That was his answer? But here goes. I think that the foundation for leadership is to answer the question, am I living a life worth following? So, in my time alone, who am I? Do I have a process in place to help me get to the end result? Or do I just want to get to the end result? Because I guarantee you never will. So I often ask people if someone's applying for a job or like an RA, what are your spiritual disciplines? What are you focusing in process every day to have, here's kind of a coach speak, continual gradual improvement daily. I think that if you're going after continual gradual improvement daily in your life and you're thinking about your wellness wheel, you're thinking about spiritual work every day. You're thinking about physical work every day. You're thinking about emotional work and cognitive work every day. So like, it's the things that nobody's going to see is what's going to make you a leader. Because you have to like go through the fire of the process. A marathon runner doesn't show up for a marathon without training. So, are you waking up? I talked with our baseball and who else did I talk to the other day? Soccer team about this. But I talked about the magic hour. There's books written about the magic hour. It's 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. What are you doing at that time? Are you utilizing that time to make yourself better enough? One of the things that I love to do is I love to get an early workout. I love to read the Bible daily. That's just been in the last year or two that I've really focused on that. But I'm telling you, my life, my outlook, my leadership has changed dramatically because I'm investing in self in a way that's not prideful. It's like closed door, no one's looking. I'm spinning on a spin bike downstairs, sweating like crazy at 5:30 when the family's still sleeping, so that I can give myself to them during the day. I'm, while my daughter's in the kitchen in the morning getting ready for school, I'm at the kitchen table reading my Bible. She sees that every single day. And so just by me doing that is leadership, because now my daughter's starting to ask like, well, what are you doing? What are you reading? And it's super fun to navigate that. But I would say, are you living a life worth following? Will other people see what you're doing and be like, there's something different about that guy? I would want to follow that guy. So at a foundational level, do you live a life worth following? Or do you have secrets? Do you show up and look a certain way one day, but at night do a different thing? My dad always used to tell me, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. You'll always get found out. And so like in leadership, we see so many times where people fall and stumble and get moved out of leadership because of choices they make that has nothing to do with the leadership that they are doing daily. The job that they have that they're getting paid money to do, but because of the things that they're doing when they think no one's looking. And so in a foundational level, are you living a life worth following?
That reminds me of what Dave Ramsey says about finances, right? He talks about finances as a financial guru. But he says to people who are trying to get back on track with that and they want to live a financially stable life, he says, you got to live like no one else to live like no one else.
Exactly.
And anytime I'm like, and it goes beyond finances, right? Finances is one of the things where, of course, like that makes a lot of sense. But it goes to character, right? It goes to leadership. It goes to developing someone who, like you said, someone who's worth following. Like if you want to be a person who is a leader that those who are under you are looking up to and saying, I want to, be in your position. Essentially, it starts with that. It's living like no one else to live like no one else. Not in a prideful way, like you were saying. But you got to do the hard things to live a life, as Paul says in Ephesians, living life to the fullness. And that fullness is in Christ, right? It's having, like, if you could think of the greatest success and fulfillment in life, it's in Christ. It's us being hidden in Christ. And it starts with our character and our relationship with Him.
And we've known this since the Bible times. And yet, we don't follow it well. It's been
we're the same humans.
That's right.
With the same sin nature that is plaguing us, but that's why we're lucky to have God's word that's consistent and that stays and stable, so that we can look to that and be like, that's what God says.
And you need to know it. Like, it needs to be imprinted on your heart. Like, the Bible needs to be a living document in your life daily, so that, like, when I read in the morning, I'm reading something I haven't read maybe since Grace Bible College back in like the 90s. And I read it again, I'm like, that hits me totally different because I'm 44 years old. I'm not 20 years old anymore. And so the maturity and the life that I've had Sometimes I'm not mature, so let me tell you that. But the life that I've had and the experience that I've had makes that Bible verse speak differently to me and new to me. And as I grow with Christ, like my heart is open to the things that He wants to share with me through this Holy Spirit. And so, yeah, the Bible needs to be written on your heart. You need to be able to notify things, because as you read daily, God will bring things into your life that explicitly apply to what you read that day.
Yeah.
And it's the craziest thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most beautiful thing, and it makes me cry every time.
Yeah. And you don't realize it until you actually like partake in it.
Yes.
Because like it's hard to describe.
Yep, it's beautiful.
But when you experience it, you realize it. Like we can talk about that and say, I get what you mean by that because I've experienced it myself.
Yes.
And you're like, that is what people are talking about. That's what we want to be a part of. That's what we want to experience and develop and grow in continuously throughout our lives.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That's the awesome part about leadership, right?
It is.
Outside of all the I guess the challenges, the tasks, the delegation, the busyness, the fulfillment of being part of God's plan in another person's life or in a team or a mission or whatever it is that you're partaking in. I would say it just doesn't compare to any other, I guess, feeling or experience.
Yeah. Leadership is hard to define, but you know when you see it, and in order to go after it, you need to be in lockstep with Christ. There are a lot of leaders in this world who are not Christian, and I don't look to them for my guidance. But I'll tell you, the leaders that I do watch and know live beautiful, full lives. Because they're investing in others through God. God is giving them the opportunity, and He's giving me a full cup to do it. Right?
Let's say that you are back to day one, whether it's this position or maybe even college, where you were beginning to develop your leadership skills and influence and desire. What would you do differently, or what would be the first, I guess, thing you would do? If you got an opportunity to, I guess, restart or re-begin your leadership growing experience.
Yeah. So about 3 years ago, I took over athletics here at Grace. And we had an amazing leader for 16, 17 years, and Coach Gary Bailey, who was the AD of our athletic department. And then as he transitioned to a new role away from Grace, our assistant AD, Corey Jameson, came in. And then about the same time, Mr. Sherstead, Brian Sherstead, passed along the athletic department to me in a transition. And so Corey and I are both pretty new, going, hey, what are we going to do here? So a dear friend, Dave Gruby, was the AD at Grace in the 90s, early 90s. And then he was the AD at Cornerstone for about 20 years. And so we called Dave. And we said, Dave, we're not starting from scratch, because we're standing on the shoulders of men and women who have come before us for a ton of years, since the 70s, for athletics. And so we're not starting from scratch. We've got thousands of alumni, wonderful people. But our story is starting from scratch. And so I went to Dave Gruby and had some coffee with him. I don't drink coffee, but hot chocolate with him. And the first thing he said was, you need to build culture. And honestly, it took me a little while to understand what he meant by that. And so after a couple hours together around a table, living life here at Grace for as many years as I have, we know that mission, vision, core values are the drivers of anything you're trying to do, and it can be a filter or a funnel of the things that we need to do. It makes questions pretty easy when something comes our way. Does it fit the mission? Does it not fit the mission? Does it fit our core values? Does it not? So I would say, if I were to go back to myself in my younger years, starting with leadership and saying, here's something you should do, I would look at culture. How are we going to build culture in this place, in this space, whatever it might be? And it's the non-negotiables. It's coming up with a few simple stated non-negotiables that will drive whatever you're doing. And so, within athletics, we came up with 3 core values. And that for 3 years now has driven us so that if I'm hit by a bus, we've got 3 core values that somebody else is going to come in and go, well, these are our standards. Does it fit it or not? Yes or no? So we're going to work hard, we're going to value others, and we're going to glorify God. If something comes to us, an opportunity comes to us, and it doesn't fit one of those things, we don't do it. And so it makes it really easy. It makes a leader's job really easy, and I don't have to hem and haw over decisions. Our mission is developing champions for Christ. If something comes to us, like here's a bright and shiny idea, if it doesn't bring us to fulfilling our mission of developing champions for Christ, then we're not going to do it. So it makes it really easy. So I would tell people, or my younger self, develop a culture. And you develop a culture through mission, vision, core values, non-negotiables, and then our job as leaders is to cascade that often, so that we inspire the people that we're serving and in leadership, so that they catch that feeling, and so then it makes life easy for them.
So I want to talk about that last point you made, because that's a very challenging thing for people to do when you're in a leadership position. And you're wanting to be held accountable and experience constructive criticism, be able to handle failure, because it's going to happen in your experience. It's like that's just the reality of life. What are some tips that someone young and ready to go that they can prepare themselves for?
In terms of accountability, and navigating accountability, I think putting pride aside and being humble. If we can follow in what Jesus has shown as a way to be humble and put others first, we talk about joyful leadership, but joy, Joy, Jesus, others, yourself. Like that should be like the cascading way that you live your life in leadership. So Jesus, others, self. In terms of accountability, I think from my perspective, if you keep the non-negotiables at the front and center, and then if somebody comes up with an idea, if it's within those non-negotiables, those core values, and it fits budget, like why not? And so when we talk about accountability specifically at Grace, we use a coaching model. I don't give you your goals. You give yourself goals. I coach you on those goals. I make sure that they fit within what we're doing. And then I might even throw out like a visionary thought at the end. And then if you feel inspired to do so, you go after it in the way that you want to, in the way that fits your personality and work style. And then I think that's what God wants us to do. I think he might give us a vision. And then it's our job to live through him and in him and use our talent, use our passion, use our pursuits to go make it happen. If he wanted robots, he would have made us to be robots. But he gives us each. We're all imprinted with, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. And sometimes there is a path that we need to stay on. We can't get too far right, too far left. And that's where leadership comes in to say, like, here's the parameters. Go after it. Stay within the parameters and get to the vision. Right? So our mission statement, graduating courageous ambassadors for Christ who make an eternal impact wherever they go. When you come up with an idea, like, does it fit that? Does it get students to go towards that? Does it fit budget? Go. I don't know if have you ever played Minecraft before? Let's see. No. Okay. So most people will I guess understand this. So I'm imagining like you as a character, I guess, riding a pig. There's a pig in Minecraft. I saw the movie.
Okay. So you get it, and you have like a carrot that you like put in front of them.
In front of them.
The carrot is like the priorities, the things, the motivation, what you're going after.
Yep.
The person on top is like, I'm gonna get trashed for this. Is I guess your mentor, the person holding you accountable, the leader that's kind of guiding you towards this. And you're the pig, I guess, where you're chasing after that carrot,
right?
Like you're going after the goal, the motivation, what is first and foremost, and what you're chasing after.
Yeah, the only difference I would say is like a carrot held by the guy riding the pig is like coercive almost. Yeah. It's like a sneaky thing.
That's so true.
Where like here at Grace, in what I've tried to learn from the people that have led me, is that it's your goal. Mm. Because God gave you things that He did not give me. Mm-hmm. When you took over as director of, spiritual emphasis and team, I said like, I need you to come to work every day thinking about this because I can't. Yep. I don't have that in me. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about these things and I need you. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully that empowers you to be like, yeah, this is mine. Yeah.
That's so true. There's no perfect analogy.
Nope, it's no perfect.
Same thing with the Trinity and all that stuff. I guess you can think about like if you're on a treadmill and you're running and you have a headband with a carrot. There you go. You ever seen that with like a cookie? And
you put it there.
Yeah, you put it there, and you're chasing after what you're going. I don't know.
I like it.
I'm done with these analogies.
We got there.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to finish off this final question to get some I guess put a bow on it. You meet with students, right? You've had experience where you're mentoring them and empowering them. What is, I guess, the ultimate piece of advice that let's say that you are sitting with one of those students today, and they're wanting to become a leader. They're on fire for God. They're excited. Maybe not. Maybe they're even just like this is something that they feel interested about, right? What is that piece of advice, that go-to that you want to share with them that is going to hopefully help them in their walk with the Lord and with serving them in their gifts that they've been given? Yep.
We've already talked about what they have control over, which is hopefully working through spiritual disciplines. Mm-hmm. What items are they doing in their process? Not thinking about the end goal of being a leader, but working through the process to be a natural leader. You can be a leader right where you sit right now, right? So I think anybody can. I don't think leadership is something you're born with. I think leadership is something that you are built throughout life with, through people, places, and environment. Mm-hmm. I think the people that God has in our lives help us to grow in our leadership. Mm-hmm. We are leaders when we don't know it. I've got tons of examples of people that said something like, hey, remember this one time when you were talking to somebody and I overheard it? Mm-hmm. And this is like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And they sort of like, I wasn't talking to them, but like we're being watched all the time. Mm-hmm. And so we need to build our processes daily to work towards it. So I've already talked about that. If I were to answer your question specifically about next step past that, so let's say you've got your spiritual disciplines on lockdown. You're going, right? You've got your magic hour, you've got your time, you're working with God, you're praying daily, devotionals, listening to the right music, all those things. You need to chase somebody. So my thought would be, we need to surround ourselves with people who will point us up and outward, not downward. Yep. So up and outward. So I'm a big believer of mentorship. And so if someone is like, I want to learn more about leadership, you better chase someone that you think is a leader, who's living a life worth following, so that you can be in proximity to them, because you will just naturally gather from them, even when you're not purposefully trying to. It's not like you're walking around all day with a notepad, but like if they're going somewhere, go somewhere. Go there too. If you know of somebody who you want to follow and you want to get into like a purposeful one-on-one, you need to ask them boldly and then chase them. I've had students who have asked to be in a mentor relationship with me and then have kind of fallen off. And this might sound mean, but I will tell them, I'm not chasing you
Mm-hmm.
as a student. If you would like to be around me, then you're going to have to do some chasing. And I will open up my schedule, I will accommodate, and I will go through the hoops that it takes so that we're in proximity to each other weekly. But if there's ever a time where that student pulls back, I'm not going to be trying to pull them back in with, I'll check in, I'll make sure that they're okay. But in the end, that student or whomever it is should desire it and want it.
Yeah. And when you desire that, then you take that on as your own. It's
Yes.
like, I'm gonna do this because I want it, I'm craving it, I desire it. So like the incentive starts from you.
It does. Yeah.
I guess it goes back to your why.
Yes.
Like, why are you doing this? And then you find that person, like that's the person I wanna become, or I wanna point to. It goes back, I guess, to what Paul says, follow me as I follow Christ.
That's right.
And that's the whole purpose of mentorship, leadership, and what you eventually step into, but it starts with you doing that.
Yes.
You can't know how to lead someone unless you've been in their shoes.
Right.
So you have to understand from that capacity as well.
Yep.
So it's a whole process of growing, maturing, developing, so that someone can then be influenced by you one day,
right,
in that same way.
Yeah. And then the other thing I would just tack on at the end is like the end result shouldn't be this job. The end result should be stronger person for life, for fatherhood, for motherhood, for husband time, to be a better human being for our community. And the fruit will come with that. And we don't know what that is because we don't know what God will have for us. So like I wouldn't chase after a role. I would build a process that creates a person so that when God has a role for you, you're ready for it. I often say with young men who come to me and they're like, yeah, I'm going to get engaged in the next year, or I just got engaged, I've got a year. What should I do? You need to get ready for life. You need to take this year to fully get ready to be a husband, to be a godly husband. And I would say for anybody going after leadership, don't go after a role. Like go after the process of getting better every day in something, so that when God has a role for you, you can say yes and be a vessel.
I think that's the perfect way to end this off. Next time I'm going to have you on, we're going to talk about fatherhood and leadership in that capacity, because that's just a great, I think I think it would be a good conversation to have with each other. But thank you so much, Kyle. This was a great conversation. Glad that you could make it.
I'm just blessed that you offered the opportunity, and hopefully some words stick with somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.